Hey guys, welcome to the Velvet Talk where I discuss the latest celebrity news. But before that, make sure you subscribe to this channel, you like this video, and you smash the bell icon for the latest celebrity news. Alright, you guys, so as you know, Where's Wendy Williams premiered this weekend on Lifetime. And now this is a two-night documentary event, pretty much going into the life of Wendy Williams and where she's been at and what she's been going through. Now, I had a chance to watch the documentary on last night, and I'll be watching it tonight later on, the other half of the documentary. And it's just very interesting what she's been going through. You know, I want to start off first of all about how she opens up and she talks about her addiction with alcohol and being addicted to alcohol and her struggle with alcohol. And, you know, she opens up about how her family, more so her son Kevin, is not okay with her drinking alcohol and consuming alcohol. And you know, that's a struggle of hers, and that's how I feel like basically that's Wendy coping. That's how she copes. That's her coping mechanism, her mechanism where she copes with, you know, different things, you know. But Wendy's able to handle a lot. She's able to handle a lot, and really pretty much doesn't open up to people, but she just internally, she knows how to be. I heard someone say she's her own therapist. She's her own therapist. So she really knows how to deal with a lot without pretty much telling others. Now, you know, at one point they say Wendy was out in Miami staying with her son and family, and during that time when she was out in Miami, she was healthy. She was, you know, talking right. She looked healthy. She was enjoying life, and she was doing well until a court case came up where she was court ordered to return to New York under this guardianship, where someone basically looks after her, I guess, look after her finances and whatnot. Now, I heard this came about through like Wells Fargo's like opening an investigation about her being mistreated, her finances being used by family members, and felt like family members and people that it just looked suspicious. So I guess they kind of opened like this investigation to her finances being looked after and management, and this is how this whole court case came about, where she's now under this guardianship and she's looked after by someone appointed by the Supreme Court of New York, her finances and things of that nature. So that's the guardianship she's under now. You know, so that's what's going on now. Now, back to as far as her drinking, I did want to mention that at one point it got to the point where she was drinking so much that she actually had to go to the hospital emergency room. And in the documentary, I believe his name was DJ Booth, actually took her to the hospital where she had to have three blood transfusion to save her life, because it was just that severe and that bad that Wendy was drinking that much and that amount of liquor. So the three blood transfusion saved her life, and that kind of helped her. You know, that saved her life in a way. Also, I do want to talk about the family members. Now, Alex, as the niece, you can see she's concerned. At first, I thought there was an alternative motive with Alex, but actually I see that Alex is very concerned about Wendy. She's very concerned about her aunt. She's concerned about her well-being. She's concerned about the people that's surrounding Wendy Williams, what they want out of Wendy Williams, what they're looking to get from Wendy Williams. So she's very concerned about Wendy Williams. She also mentions, I believe it's in the first episode of the show, that at one point her her and her grandmother, which is Shirley Williams, which is Wendy Williams' mother, was watching her on the Wendy Williams show, and she said her grandmother noticed that her daughter said something looks different. Her eyes is just a little bit dimmer than what they used to be. She's definitely going through something, and she told Alex to, like, no matter what you do, make sure you look after Wendy Williams and look after her. So she said that's what, that's basically what she's been doing, looking after Wendy Williams, taking care of her, looking after her well-being. When Wendy lost her mother, that was one of the most important relationships in Wendy's life, was her mother, and they had a very strong connection. She also mentioned that they would sometimes fall asleep on the phone talking to each other. That's just how much Shirley Williams meant to Wendy, which is her mother. So they had a very strong connection, and it just shows that Wendy Williams took that hard, especially what she was going through. So she really took that hard about what she was going through. Now, I want to get to Kevin, the son, and their dynamic in their relationship. He cares. I feel as though he cares about his mother very much so. He doesn't want her drinking. He doesn't want her to do any of that, But Wendy, being her own person, I feel as though since she has went back to New York under this guardianship, it's just she's another person towards him. And I believe it's been 8 months since they actually seen each other, which Wendy mentions in the documentary. Like, it's been 8 months since she's seen her son, and it's because of they've been cut off from family Wendy's been cut off from family under this guardianship, and it's just that she has her drinking, and she wants to do her drinking, and she knows that her son doesn't like that, and I feel like, I feel like the drinking is just her way of coping with what she's going through. Now that I think about it, just in life in general, like, Wendy is going through so much with the loss, the family, under this guardianship, her money, her assets being frozen. So I feel like this is just her way to, like, I'ma drink I'ma just drink the way and numb the pain. I feel like it's just her coping. This is basically her coping mechanism of how she's dealing with life by drinking. So basically, yeah, that's basically what's happened, and there's what's happening between her and Kevin. That's their dynamic, I believe, between her and her son, is that he don't want her to drink, and she wants to continue to drink and just deal with her problems how she wants to cope and deal with her problem, and also her issues her issue with grave disease, and us finding out that she's been diagnosed with this Alzheimer's. So these things that I think she's finding a way to deal with through the drinking. Also, her team. I definitely want to get to the team now. The team, just into the dynamic between her and her team, how she looks at her manager, how she looks at her publicist, which I'm about to get into. She looks at her manager, which is, I believe his name is Will, as he's a close friend to her. She really cares about him a lot. They are on and off. They have this, I feel like they have this love-hate relationship, you can say. 1 minute Wendy loves him, 1 minute Wendy wants him in pictures with her, 1 minute Wendy Williams, she just can really open up to Will, and then the next minute she's cussing him out. She's telling him, put my liquor down, don't take my liquor out this room, put it right there, leave it right there. It's just the dynamic of, it's like this love-hate. But I feel like that is a part of the what she's going through, like the issues and the disease that she's going through, which is, I believe, is the dementia. So I feel like, it's the up and down, it's the up and down between them two, So it's like on and off. And like he says in the documentary that, at one point it just depends. One point she can love you, the next day she can hate you. It's Wendy. That's who she has become. That's just who she is. So he mentions, like, this is how Wendy acts, basically. This is her day to day. This is what it is. So yeah, but my thing with Will, I was questioning me just watching. I was questioning his like motives. Like, okay, is this guy really genuinely caring about Wendy, or is it just this alternative money to stick around to, get see what it can get? And I came to the conclusion of I do believe that Will genuinely does care about Wendy Williams. I come to that conclusion that I feel he does genuinely care about her. And the moment of that was the realization of trying to stop her from drinking liquor in any way possible. Even because I believe he mentioned that Kevin which is her son, told him that he doesn't want his mother drinking, and he's really trying. You can see in the documentary he's really trying to stand by that, stand by Wendy not having anything to do with alcohol, because she's already drinking, and after that blood transfusion in the beginning, the emergency when she was rushed to the hospital, like they really toned it down, nailing down on her drinking habits, which is good, so he's taking very concern to that, and making sure Wendy has no alcoholic beverages. So yeah, so I really came to the conclusion, like, I really do appreciate Will and what he's trying to do for Wendy, as far as looking out for her well-being, and who she is as a person, make sure she stays on track and make sure she's in the best shape she can be, physically, and emotionally. So yeah. Also, I want to talk about the publicist. Now, the publicist is a different story for me. Like, the publicist comes off, which is, I believe her name is Sean. She comes off very much, I'll put up and do and take anything that Wendy's dishes just to stay around and collect some coins. I'm sorry, but that's how it comes off. The niece, which is Alex, she called it out. She came off as very needy. Like, but it was another word she said for it, but I know it was along those lines. It's very needy, like desperate. That's what she said. She comes out very desperate, and she does. Like, she comes out very, I'm gonna put up with anything Wendy dishes out to me, just to stick around and stay around and be with Wendy, and collect these coins, and when I think it was in the second episode that they were actually Wendy and her was looking through the closet, and Wendy was telling her, no, put that back, fix it right. That's not how you fix it. And she called her, a dumbass. And and she basically was just like, okay, whatever. It's just like, you called me that, but okay, I'm not gonna respond to it. And it's just like, okay, miss, certain people gonna put up with certain stuff, but you just sitting there just taking that, and a regular person, will have some type of reaction. Like, you said absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, me personally, I couldn't have been in that situation, and because me and Wendy would have been going back and forth. I'm sorry. Me and her would have been going back and forth, cussing each other out, cussing each other down, how you want it, how you want to do this, but you're not finna sit here and disrespect me. At the end of the day, I am a person. This is a job, and you are to treat me as such. If not, we gonna have problems. That's just what it is. I'ma respect you as my boss, so you're gonna respect me. So that's just how I personally feel. I personally wouldn't have sat there and been taking that from Wendy. That's just me. I'm sorry. Call it what you will, but hey, it's respect goes both ways. So that's what I think. Also, another part, when they was riding around in New York, Wendy was in the back seat. It was a publicist and a driver in the driver, of course, and they was driving. She wanted to go in front of the Wendy Williams show, but she wanted to stop and get some blues. I guess they's like vape cigarettes. And she kept telling her publicist, like, girl, this is not what I wanted. Like, this is not what I wanted. I want blues, okay? And go in there and give me the blues right now. Are you dumb? Are you slow? Go get it. She comes back. Oh, here you go, the blues. Girl, what is this? This is not what I wanted. I said blues. Go back in there and give me the right type of blues. And it's like, okay, she was going in there to get the blues and she was coming back, and Wendy was like, girl, this ain't it. And it's like, okay, it's, and then eventually she realized, oh, these are the blues. And it's like, okay, no, see, at that point, I feel like, okay, now you testing my patience, and at some certain point, Wendy just, and to me, it's like Wendy sending her back in there like she's a kid, like that's her child. And it's like, nah, something ain't right with this picture, something ain't right with you, Sean, as a publicist, and you not seeing anything. You just let Wendy run you back and forth. Like, girl, what? Like, no, like she's running you back and forth, talking about this ain't blues, and it's like, yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, at this point, we're not finna play these games. That's what I'm saying. Like, at some point, it's a certain level of morals, respect, standards you should have for yourself. When you're working for someone like Wendy Williams, and just in general with anybody, but more so per se with Wendy Williams, especially being the type of aggressiveness she can come off, she can have. So yeah, I feel like it's just a certain amount of respect, that you should have your standards with Wendy Williams. But just to deal with that and go back and forth with Wendy like that is just like, and she's running you in and out the store. Nah, we ain't finna do that. No, ma'am, we're not finna do that. Nah. So yeah, that was just something that I was just really just taken back about. Like, wow, she's putting up a lot, and that goes back to what the niece was saying. That comes off as what, desperate. So you see the desperate action in Sean. You see the desperateness that she's having with Wendy Williams. A normal person would have put up with that. A normal person would have put Wendy in her place. So you gonna respect me? We look. Hey, we not finna do this. We ain't playing those games today. This is what it is. I got you what you wanted, and that's that. I'm not finna keep running back and forth. Now let's go on and ride around and get to the let you see the Wendy Williams show or go past it, but we're not finna do this back and forth. That's just me. But yeah, so it's just the respect, and that does come off, if I'm being honest, as desperate. It does. In my opinion, it comes off as desperate with the publicist. So that's definitely something that just concerned me. Like, she does come off like that. She does come off like that. So it's just, that was very concerning of me, And I noticed not only with the publicist, she also was very rude to the nail tech. At first the conversation, when she was getting her nails done, the conversation started off nice. Oh, Wendy, how many kids you have? I have such and such. Okay, that's nice. Do you want to get married? Yeah, I would like to get married. I believe that's what she said. Then she was like, oh no, this is the wrong color. No, I don't like this. Are you stupid? And it's like, you can tell, and I can tell by the way the nail tech was looking. You can read a person's face and just can tell they was cussing that person out without saying anything. That's exactly how that's the exact energy the nail tech was giving to me. Like, I'm cussing her down in her face without saying it, And personally, yeah, in none of them circumstances could I have been a nail tech, I couldn't have been that, but it's a certain level of professional, some level of stuff people will put up, and they probably more understanding of what Wendy has. But at the same time, don't mean you can't check her. Even though she's going through what she's going through and she has this disease, and that might make her a little more aggressive, still don't mean you can't check Miss Wendy Williams. I'm just saying. And maybe that'll snap her back into reality a little bit, But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing, certain things you're gonna put up with is a certain level of respect that you're gonna deal with, and you gotta give to get respect. That's just how I look at it. So it's just this aggressiveness that Wendy Williams have, and I thought that was just so interesting, and just to see how everything unfolds, and how she works along with her team and her with her family, and it's pretty cool to see the dynamic in this documentary. Also, I want to talk about the scandal and Kevin, her ex-husband, cheating and how that took a toll mentally on Wendy. I feel like that's kind of when we saw the decline of Wendy Williams. During the show, everything was good with Wendy until the scandal came about. If you notice, like once the scandal came about, we basically saw Wendy Williams trickle downhill, like basically tumble downhill with her. I feel like she was dealing with so much, and Kevin was basically, the backbone of Wendy Williams. He basically kept Wendy Williams going. Basically that's what he was. He kept Wendy Williams going. He kept her just doing the day to day. When you learn out more about their dynamic, he was that person that I believe her nephew mentioned it. He got her going. He mentioned that when she was at the show, that was half of the battle, but the battle was getting her to the show, and that's something that Kevin did for Wendy Williams. Also, I was watching another documentary on Wendy Williams that was on Lifetime, and I remember her saying she met Kevin. Kevin like April 6th of 1994. So they've been together for a long time. And, he would just really protect her and looked after her. And speaking of protecting her, even it's not on this documentary, but one of the documentaries I watched, which I believe was Wendy Williams, the movie or something like that, or something like that. I forgot what it was, but anyway, it was mentioning how Wendy Williams was talking about Total, talking about they from the projects, ain't gonna be nothing, and it was just, she brings up a time where she almost got into a fight, altercation with Total, and all three of them jumped out the van and was finna fight Wendy Williams, and it just so happened Kevin pulled up and protected her, jumped out and like, y'all not finna touch Wendy, y'all not finna mess with her, and basically he ended up protecting Wendy Williams from getting jumped on. He was looking after his girlfriend at the time. I don't believe they were married, so I'm gonna say girlfriend. So he was basically looking after her and protected her from getting jumped. So yes, that actually, I heard about that, but just hearing it and seeing how it actually went down from actually a member of Total too, because one of the members of Total was actually on that documentary and spoke up more so on that situation. So yeah, so it was interesting to see how that all played about, but that was true about that incident. But yeah, going back to the scandal and him cheating, it was just like that mentally did break Wendy down, and ultimately that's what made her end up trickling down here, from it starting from when she hit the Halloween show, when she fainted, that's when really people started to worry about Wendy, like, what is going on with Wendy? She fainted, is she sick, is she okay, is she taking care of herself? And it was like, she's dealing with so much. You got to think about, she was dealing, for her to always talk about hot topics, and for her to always, you're the center of hot topics, or this hot topic, or I'm talking about this celeb today, for her now to be what she's always talking about, which is a hot topic, it was a lot to deal with, especially in the news for some cheating. So that took a toll on her. I heard in the documentary, well, she would drink, and she would just drink and think about the hurt and what he's done to her. She even mentioned that Kevin actually came home late one night and said, she's pregnant. She like, your girl? Yeah, I know she's pregnant. Let's file for divorce. File for the divorce. I don't care about her. I don't care about the baby. Or I don't care about you. It's what it is. File for divorce. So it was just like kind of hard to see that she was just like, okay, yeah, it's time to divorce. It is what it is, and you could tell it's like took a toll on Wendy. It was just hard for her. The cheating scandal, that was something big for her to handle, and I feel like even once the scandal came about, her just health started declining. She started a lot of memory loss. She started to forget a lot of things. She started to not remember where she was. She started, and people would say her team would say, the driver. I'm gonna talk about the driver in particular. He mentioned that Wendy would always speak to him back then and say hey and be happy to see him. And then to one point she just forgot who he was. Like, who are you? What's your name? As if she didn't know him. So it was like she was forgetting a lot. The memory loss. And I feel like that took a toll on her. You got to remember, like, Wendy is going through a lot. And especially during the pandemic, because during the pandemic, she had filed for divorce from her ex-husband Kevin. Her son was off to college in Miami, so it was just her in this big house by herself. And now we're doing a pandemic. Now she's alone. The only person she wanted over there, I believe, was DJ Booth, because they were still trying to push the show, even though it's obvious that everyone's seeing. Even DJ Booth mentioned is that something's wrong with Wendy. She's not well. You can tell she's tired. She just wants to rest. And I just feel it's funny, like, that the producers of the show still was pushing her to work, even though she was mentally not there. She was mentally not well. And y'all still pushing this lady to work. And it's like, wow, can she catch a break? And it's like, it's good to see behind the scenes of actually what she was going through during that time. Because it's like, man, get this lady a break. She's dealing with so much. She just found out her ex-husband was cheating. Then we have the pandemic. She's dealing with loneliness. She also complains about she has no friends, and she misses her family. Now, the friend aspect, I can understand why she probably struggled with having friends, being that right now her behavior is unpredictable. One minute she can love you, one minute she can hate you. That could probably make people just distance themselves from a person. Like, I just want to distance myself. I don't want to be bothered with that person. I don't have time for this flip-floppity mood swings and stuff, so I just want to distance myself from Wendy. And I don't want to have a friend like that. So I can understand the friend aspect of why she's probably feeling lonely in that department. So I definitely do understand that. But yeah, from just her not having any friends, her missing her family, she can't see her family, she's under this guardianship. You can tell that mentally it takes a toll on Wendy, and she's constantly breaking down, constantly saying she missed family, she just want to be with her family. And it's just sad to watch. In general, it's just sad to watch, to see that Wendy is so broken right now and fragile that she, at this time, I just feel like she needs to be with people who care about her and love her, and that is her family. I don't know what type of care she's receiving under this guardianship, but obviously it's not going well. Obviously it's not going well. Don't nobody even know who this guardian is. It's just the individual that the court appointed. So it's not going well. And you just see her just drinking away, constantly drinking. Just you into it with team, up and down with her team. So you just see, it's just like, yeah. Wendy is just like in a space where she's definitely just, going through it. And all you can do is just pray for her like Wendy, and pray for Wendy Williams, because she's really going through it right now, and it's just sad to see, and it's sad to watch. But with that being said, just things have taken a toll on her, as far as just like her not being able. I feel like also she has trust issues. Like, who can she trust? How can who can she trust around her too? But I feel like who's looking out for that on that side is more so her niece Alex. But because she trusts certain people, but she still, I feel like she still is not as aware of if someone would be using her or manipulating her. So I feel like who has her back on that end is probably her niece Alex. You can tell she's really like girl, Sean is giving desperate energy. Yeah, I don't like her. Yeah, I don't like her. And then Wendy, like, yeah, they just using, like, she like, who's, I believe she was saying something like, who's using me, or something along those lines. But yeah, but her niece was telling her, like, girl, it's giving desperate energy. You know, people just using you for your coin, and that's what that is. But yeah, it's just, it's just really interesting to see the dynamic between the family and her being looked after. You know, her being looked after by her her niece, you know, and her family being concerned about her, because they generally are concerned about, you know, Wendy, you know, and, you know, as far as her being, oh, it's another thing I want to address. As far as her being back on the Wendy Williams show, it's pretty much said and done. It's pretty much said and done about the Wendy Williams show, you know. And I'm going to bring up the fact that Alex said Wendy Williams did come over to her place and was like, yeah, we just preparing for a new season of Wendy Williams. She was like, oh, you must been here, like, girl, Sherry Shepard in your spot. Like, it's pretty much said and done with. The Wendy Williams show, as you know, it's a wrap. And she like, she kind of took it like it didn't kind of sink in to her at the moment, and as the weeks progressed, reality sunk in. Like, girl, yeah, this Wendy Williams show is over, and from what we can see, it's over. You know, she's forgetting things. Her health is declining. She really just needs to focus on her health more importantly than anything. You know, instead of a show. You know. My thing is, what you can do now is, you had a good 13 seasons, you know. Don't quote me for that. I believe it was 13 seasons. You had a good run, you know. We know you, the iconic Wendy Williams, legendary, you know, and no one can do it like Wendy, and you know, that's just what it is. Wendy was one of the kind. She was just she just was one of the kind when it came to celebrity gossip. And one thing that made Wendy Williams different to me is the fact that she was not afraid to speak and say what's on her mind. Whether you can take it with a grain of salt, whether she stepped on some toes, it was Wendy Williams. She was gonna say truly, authentically how you felt, whether that made you not like her, whether that made you love her. Wendy Williams was going to say how she felt, and that's what sets Wendy apart from most and many others, is that will never be another like her, you know, because she was the first one to kind of open that lane of seeing what I want, how I feel about who I want to feel about, and it's however you want, and you're going to take it how you want to take it, whether you hate me or you love me, but I'm going to say what's on my mind. And that's what makes Wendy Williams her iconic, you know. You know, you gotta respect Wendy for that. You know, she had a good run, and she was always be the, icon when it comes to talk show. Is her in Oprah. She's like right there, if not on the same level as Oprah. So yeah, that's how I feel about Wendy Williams. So yeah, that's basically what has been going on, on the documentary. Now it's going to be interesting to see how things play out tonight, on which I will be watching. I might make a part 2 to this documentary about, what's part 2 given. But basically that's what's been going on with Wendy, and where she's been at, how she's been coping, how she's been living, what she's been dealing with as far as the show, her family, this guardianship. Her money been frozen by Wells Fargo. So yeah, I'm really glad to see we got an inside look of just where she's at in life, and it's like a good update of what she's dealing with in life. So I just find that very interesting that we got to experience that with Wendy in this documentary. So I'm very excited to see the second half of this docu-series, and I'm very interested, to see how it's going to turn out, and how it ends, or what's the end game as far as what's next for Wendy. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So with that being said, I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Wendy Williams, have you watched it? What are your opinions on it? Let me know below. What do you think about some of her team, her family, her drinking, the scandal, how her health rapidly declined? Rapidly after, really, I feel like the scandal kind of tipped that off of her health declining. But yeah, let me know. What do you guys feel? You know, I want to know what you guys think. So it's very interesting. Will you be watching it tonight? Have you seen it? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Also, I want to thank you for any returning subscribers as well as new subscribers. So welcome to the Club Velvet. So I want to thank you. Also, you might have noticed that the audio sound way clearer. So I just spent a lot just upgrading the quality. I don't know how it would sound, but the quality of the sound. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. I hope I sound way clearer than my previous videos. So that's something I wanted to do for you guys. So yeah. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think about this Wendy Williams docuseries. It's been very interesting. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And that's gonna be it for this video. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.